Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. It is a brand new year, and I hope you're having the most wonderful start to 2026 so far. I know I am. So, just to ease us into the new year for the very first video of the year, I figured we could dive into something a little fun, a little short and punchy. So today we're taking a look at what your goal in 2026 is. Now, I'm doing this from the sense of, or from the perspective of wanting to look at personal growth. Okay, so what should your ideal personal growth or spiritual growth goal be for the year? So that's my goal for this video, but I am open to whatever messages want to come through as always. So without much further ado, let's dive in. So for pile number 1, we have this jade palm stone. For pile 2, we have a citrine. And for pile 3, we have an amethyst. So, as always, I'll give you guys some time with these 3 stacks of cards, these 3 crystals. Go ahead and see which one calls to you intuitively. Timestamps, as always, are in the video description down below. And if you enjoy this video, if it helps, please remember to like and subscribe. Start your new year off right with me. And comment below how this resonates. And without much further ado, I'll see you at your reading. Pile number 1, hello, welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what your goal should be in 2026. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. First, we'll take a look with these cards at just an energy check, just a quick look at what energy you're stepping into this year with. And you can use this as a confirmation to make sure that you've picked the right pile. Then with these cards over here, we'll take a look at what your goal should be and why. This card here will tell us what's helping you along this goal. And this one here will tell us what's hindering this goal or what may produce a challenge this year. And then finally, with this oracle card over here, we'll take a look at any advice that the universe has for you in fulfilling this goal. So let's dive in. Let's start with an energy check. What energy are you bringing into this year? To start, we have the Queen of Coins in reverse. And that's clarified by the 5 of Wands, also in reverse. And your archetype card is the Eternal Child in reverse. Okay, lots of reversals. I think at the start of this year, you're feeling a little topsy-turvy maybe. And that's nothing to do with what these cards mean, but I just kind of got the feeling because all of it's in reverse. But with the Queen of Coins in reverse and the 5 of Wands in reverse, it kind of feels like you're feeling a sense of instability, but you may not be able to point out exactly why you feel that way. So this Queen of Coins in reverse is generally about not having this sort of inner sense of abundance. The Queen of Coins upright is abundant from within. She doesn't need to go out into the world in order to create wealth because she knows that she is abundance and therefore abundance will come to her. So to have that in reverse tells me that you might be feeling pretty much the opposite. You might be feeling like you have to work extremely hard this year for any amount of wealth. You may feel like there isn't enough wealth in your life for you to be able to relax about money or abundance of any kind. But to have that clarified by the 5 of Wands in reverse, it kind of feels like this is not a new energy. This is not an energy that's conflicting with your inner beliefs. So this might be a belief system you've carried for a very long time. And right now, it's like nothing has really changed. So you might feel even that, you've worked so hard for so long. How come your financial situation hasn't changed at all? And it kind of feels a little unfair. So that might be what you're coming into this year with. Let's just take a quick look at this Eternal Child card from the book. So it is in reverse. The Eternal Child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else. The Eternal Child, naturally popular, perhaps even famous, the Eternal Child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical about this precious life. And in reverse, it can talk about addicted, selfish, adrift, and burnt out. So there could almost be an addiction to a thought pattern that you may have picked up quite early in life, and it may have been something that colored every era of your personhood. And so now I feel like this is the year where you really examine this belief system and really ask yourself if it's worth carrying this belief into the future. Because yes, it makes you cautious, but it also keeps you stuck in a pattern that is no longer serving you. So if that resonates, hello, you found your reading. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. All right, let's dive in. What should your goal be for this year? To start, we have the 8 of Cups, fitting. And that's clarified by the world. Okay, beautiful. This is definitely a big change, and it's very important for your soul's journey for sure, because the world card is the end of a cycle, but it is also a major arcana card. We'll get into it. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. Beautiful. And that's clarified by the Empress also in reverse. Okay, that makes sense. So it's interesting that this card came out from a whole other deck, because when I was reading this Queen of Coins in reverse, I was genuinely feeling that Empress energy, because that's kind of what it is. The Queen of Coins is the feeling of inner abundance, knowing that you are abundant from within. And so the world has to match your energy, not the other way around. So, and that to me is very much that Taurian Empress energy. So it's very funny that it came out in reverse as well. So, what is your goal this year? It's definitely to walk away from this thought pattern, this belief system that is keeping you stuck. I don't know why. This stack of letters is kind of making me think of stacks of bills. Like, you know how in movies there's that trope of like someone who has lost their job, and then literally the next scene is just all these bills stacking up that are overdue somehow, like within the week. It's kind of giving me that energy. And the 8 of Cups is all about walking away from a situation that no longer serves you, even though that may have been a situation that you spent so long building up to. So it very much feels like you've almost everything in your life so far has been built. Oh, okay. I'll get back to the eyes. But it feels like everything in your life so far has been colored by this system of beliefs that sort of resonate with lack and, there not being enough to make you happy, that there's not an abundance, like we're barely getting by, we're living paycheck to paycheck, that kind of thing. And it feels like over time, not only have you worked so extremely hard to get to a point now where you might be able to get by, but you've also like stacked up all these additional negative beliefs that kind of are attracted to your core belief of unworthiness or of lack. And so it feels like all of these have stacked up, and this year your goal is to unravel that stack of beliefs. Because to have that clarified by the world is also a card about endings. It is generally a happy ending to a cycle where you've learned and grown and evolved into a whole different version of yourself. It is the last of the major arcanas. What's interesting to me in the imagery here, though, is that both of these have eyes, and this one has an eye as well. Wow. Okay, we'll get to that. Both of these cards have drawings of eyes on them. However, here the eyes are all crying, whereas here the eyes look like they're peering. Okay, I tried to say peering and I started to say peeking. Anyway, they're sort of peeking in through the shadow, through the darkness. It's almost like these are eyes that have been left behind in the shadow, and they're watching you from a distance, from the past, from a dark place. And so this year your goal has to be to walk away from this lack mentality, because you deserve better. Now let's come to this side. With the Five of Cups in reverse, this is about recognizing your blessings. And so the Five of Cups is a card about, 3 of the 5 cups have spilled, but 2 are still standing. And it is important to recognize that those 2 cups are still standing, because it's about counting your blessings, right? And to have that clarified by the Empress in reverse, it seems like one way to go about achieving this goal for you this year is going to be about a gratitude practice. Now, this may be something you got started in this year. It may be something you might be considering, or you haven't even thought of it, but you definitely should. Because when you count the blessings you already have, it puts you in a rhythm of recognizing all the good things in life. And it kind of sends a message to your brain to only recognize happy things, good things. And then when you're in that energy, you automatically attract opportunities for more of the same, right? Because that's kind of how the universe is built. It matches your energy. Just like with this Empress card in general, like the concept of the Empress, where she is abundant within herself. And so the universe has to match her energy, because that's what it does, right? It resonates at your frequency. And so you may not be able to just overnight just transform your frequency like that. However, recognizing your blessings and gradually building up more and more blessings, and then recognizing those and then building up more, that's kind of how you get to that frequency of abundance, of, having way more than you need, of, not needing to worry about where the money is going to come from, or if you'll have enough to cover your bills by the end of the month, like that kind of thing. The key here is to start with gratitude until this Empress is upright, and then you'll see the abundance come to you. So it's not necessarily going to be an overnight shift. I mean, it well might be if you get really, 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 really lucky, but most likely it is something you gradually work towards. And personally, that's kind of the growth that I prefer. Like, I'm not the kind of person who enjoys sudden, insane amounts of success or massive transformations or tower moments. Like, obviously no one likes tower moments, but when it comes to transformation, I much prefer the gradual change, because it means you gradually grow into the person that can sustain the abundance, right? It's not just about receiving the money or receiving the fame or receiving the success. It's about being able to hold on to it. And you can only do that if you can maintain that frequency of, I know what to do with this. I know how to deal with success. I know how to work with money. Rather than just, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to do with all this money. Let me just spend it all at once and then regret it, So it may not be like a goal that just kind of happens for you, but it will be a version of yourself that you will gradually grow into this year. And that's how you attract abundance into your life. That's how you turn this upright and this upright. Okay? So now let's take a look at something that is helping you along your journey. Oh, we have strength. Beautiful. So generally, people look at the strength card and think, oh, I'm going to have to be strong. However, the true meaning of the strength card isn't just about actual strength. It's about knowing which battles are worth picking. So the whole idea of the imagery is that she has this lion, or in this case, this chimera creature, who is so fierce and fearsome and is trained specifically to go fight on her behalf. However, she also recognizes that with great power comes great responsibility, and that not every fight has to end in bloodshed or in a show of strength or anything like that. So this card is not so much about being strong in the face of scary things. It's more about knowing where it's worth expending your energy. So something that will really help you build up to this abundance will be avoiding conflicts that don't really need to happen, avoiding falling into the trap of having to prove your worth to someone or to prove your sense of belonging, to prove that you deserve to be here, that kind of thing. If someone questions your worth, understand that that's not a room you need to stay in, right? You can just walk away, and you should just walk away, because these are the kind of people who will make you question your own worth. And then that kind of helps you down a downward spiral, and then we're back where we started. So one of the things you will definitely want to do this year is to re-examine situations in your life where there is just unnecessary conflict. And instead of falling into the ego trap of having to prove that you are right, having to prove that you deserve respect, consider simply leaving it be. And then you'll quickly realize that none of this deserves your energy anyway, and your energy is better spent counting your blessings instead. So, is there anything else I'm getting? So this is also Leo energy. So it's very optimistic, right? Leo energy is fixed fire. So it is a consistent passion, a consistent drive. So maybe if you can incorporate consistency in your daily workflow moving forward when it comes to this gratitude practice, or just consistency with the messaging you're giving yourself. So maybe look at what media you're consuming, what podcasts you listen to, what movies and shows you watch. Are they uplifting? Are they depressing? You definitely want to stick more to the uplifting side if you really want to transform your vibe. But yeah, it's just about being aware and maintaining consistency with everything that you consume, because it will make a huge difference to what your brain starts to perceive in any situation. Okay, what's an energy that might prove challenging? Okay, we have the King of Wands, which is interesting because I just spoke about consistency and fire. There's a lot of fire energy here. Okay, the King of Wands in reverse. When you feel like you are no longer in charge of your success, in charge of your situation, is when things start to go sideways again. So, of course, this is not going to be a linear graph. There will be ups and downs because that's just the nature of life, right? However, I will say that when things are down this year, which is, it's just a normal part of the cycle, don't freak out. There's not going to be any like massive tower moment or anything. Like, at least this reading doesn't say there will be, but there will be up days, there will be down days. And on your down days, I want you to take notice of what's making it worse. And you might find that when you start to feel powerless against, the system or your career or your family or your friend group or whatever, like anything that makes you feel like you don't have the power to change your situation, that's what will hinder your success when it comes to this transformation, when it comes to this abundance. So the goal here in terms of action steps is to, one, recognize your blessings, two, control what you consume from the world around you so that that messaging matches where you want to be at the end of the year, and three, avoid anything that takes you out of your power or makes you feel like you don't have the power to change a situation at any given point in time. I feel like these messages go hand in hand really beautifully. And also I love that the color schemes are basically identical, because this is about choosing your battles and deciding whether it's worth fighting. And in doing so, preserving your control over your sense of self-worth. And then this is talking about it being a challenge if you ever allow like the world around you to define your worth instead of it coming from within. So I feel like that's pretty much a straightforward message. So what will help you is knowing who you are and not having to prove it. And what might be a challenge is allowing other people wow, okay. My mouth just did not do what my brain wanted. What would be a challenge is allowing other people to dictate who you are. Okay, so finally, let's take a look at some advice from the universe. We have the squirrel spirit in reverse. Believe in yourself. There we go. Okay, I'm going to read this from the book because reversals are really interesting in this book. Because they're always like uplifting messages, regardless of if it's upright or not. Okay. Squirrel spirit, this is number 57, by the way. The unpredictability of life can shake your confidence in yourself and your potential for handling the challenges that come your way. Does the thought of not having enough or being enough make you squirrely? Have you forgotten all your strengths, wisdom, and resources? You have come so far on your wit and creativity, making use of all of your potential and all that spirit presents you to help you through life's trying times. Squirrel Spirit wants you to know that you are poised and ready for whatever is coming next, so trust in yourself and trust that Spirit has your back. I mean, I love when the cards do their thing, because that is pretty much a summary of the exact message that we've got so far. Do not let anyone outside of yourself dictate your worth to you. Do not let anything that's out of your control, anything that you cannot change, decide what you deserve. Okay, sometimes life just does life things, and that's just how life works. However, that doesn't mean you don't deserve abundance. Okay, because you do. Abundance is everyone's birthright. We've just been taught not to expect it. So this is your year of unlearning that and really stepping into a time of growth and inner work and mostly unlearning the stack of bills. Okay, so it's going to be a very interesting year for you, Pal One, and I'm very excited for you. But that's your reading for today. I really hope it helped, and I hope you enjoyed it, because this was definitely something I needed to hear this year as well. So if this resonated and if it helped, please do remember to like and subscribe. Comment below how you felt about this reading. You can always come say hello on social media. I have an Instagram. And if you like what I do, would like to support my work, I have a PayPal tip jar, or you can email me for a private reading and we can work that out as well. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me and letting me do this reading for you. I truly, truly hope it helped. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Pile number 2, hello. So if you guys picked the citrine, then this is your reading, all about your goal for 2026. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. Before I tell you what they are, I do want to say I was feeling a little bit of a frantic energy while I was shuffling. So that might be confirmation for someone out there. But let's dive in. These cards here are going to tell us what energy you're coming into this year with. And this is a great way to make sure that you've picked the right pile, because if this resonates with you, then you're in the right place. These cards here will tell us what your goal is, why, and perhaps even how to go about achieving it. This one card here will give us a look at what is helping you achieve it, what energies around you are helping you achieve this goal. And this one here will tell us what's hindering, or perhaps what might be a challenge when it comes to achieving this goal this year. And then finally, we'll take a look at an animal spirit card. So a lot to cover, but we'll get through it. Okay, so let's dive in. What energy are you coming into the year with? We have the 8 of Cups, and that's clarified by the 5 of Cups. Interesting. Both these cards came out in a different pile. And for your archetype, we have Thanatos. I don't know if this is upright or reverse. I think it might be reverse, but we'll see. Okay. So, how to the 8 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. You're coming into this year with the energy of someone who has walked away from something pretty big, something that you've built up over a life. You've worked so hard on, but for whatever reason, you've recognized that it is just never going to be the way you want it to be. Because this is Cups, it could be a relationship. It could be romantic, but this to me feels deeper than just someone you're, casually seeing or whatever. This feels a lot deeper. This could be either, something as significant as a marriage, or it could also be something like a family relationship, which is something that you would spend a long time on, only to find that it may not be working out for you. But that's kind of the energy I'm getting here, of someone who has just had to walk away from something and it was heartbreaking. But with this 5 of Cups here, you do know that this is something you have to do in order to protect your peace, in order to maintain your happiness. Because yes, it's a painful ending, and there might even be people trying to claw you right back into that situation, because do you see this hand here trying to drag her back in? Or, well, I guess technically it's trying to reach out to her, but in context, it kind of feels like it's trying to grab her. And even here, there's a web that is usually a symbol of stickiness and being trapped. There's all these hands trying to grab it. Feels like there's people whom you have walked away from who are trying so desperately to claw their way back into your life, but you're gone, you're gone for good. And what's interesting is the moon goes from crescent here to a full moon here, which is all about release. So it's something that's built up over a very long time. And you're finally at that point now where you're it's time to let go. This is not going to work out. So I'm just going to read Thanatos from the book really quickly. This is one of the end cards. So it's pretty dramatic. Where is it? I should probably read the number. Okay, this is the one. Thanatos, death. Okay, there we go. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as a transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. It leaves a mark of ash upon our hearts, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of living eventually with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. Okay, so I think it was upright, actually. It was like this, wasn't it? Yeah, it's definitely upright. So when light, grieving, mourning, bearing witness to all that is. Yeah, it feels like you're in a time of grieving love that's been lost. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be platonic. It could very well be familial, which is kind of the one I'm getting more energetically. And it's perfectly fine to grieve, right? But like, it's a heavy loss, losing people you love, whether by choice or by force. It's never easy. But if that's the energy that resonates with you, then welcome. Let's dive in. So what should your goal be in 2026? Okay. We have the Oracle of Wands. Beautiful. That's the Queen of Wands. And that's clarified by the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. And we have the Tower. Okay, we have Death and the Tower. Okay. And the Nine of Swords in reverse. Didn't I say I was feeling like frantic, anxious energy from you guys? Okay, interesting. Lots of cat imagery here. Okay. What should your goal be? It should be to... Okay, there's two aspects to this goal. The first is to refocus your energy and go inwards and drop any relationships that no longer serve you, which I feel like you're well on your way of doing. And the second half of it is more about releasing fears, but we'll get to that. Let's start with the Oracle or Queen of Wands and the Three of Pentacles in reverse. The Queen of Wands is someone who is passionate, but in an intuitive sense. She knows that the fire that drives her will never burn out. She knows that the fire that, ignites her creativity, ignites her passion for whatever it is that she does in this world, is not a finite resource. It is infinite, because it comes from something so much deeper than just a sudden interest or a superficial, excitement or anything like that. So the Queen of Wands is very much here to kind of tell you that your main goal this year should be to recognize and respect that fire that pushes you, even if there are people around you who actively try to sabotage you. So this Three of Pentacles upright usually talks about collaboration, about working with a bunch of people, about creating things together. Essentially, it's the group project card, you know what I mean? So to have that in reverse can be collaborations that are not in your best interest. And that again brings me right back to this kind of energy of people trying to claw for your attention, for your energy. And you know fully well that this is not good, but there is a part of you that is endlessly optimistic and hoping that things will fix themselves. With this Queen of Wands, or this Oracle of Wands, I like that it's specifically called Oracle in this deck, and it came out with this deck, because to me, an Oracle is someone who lives in that inner world more than anything else. And so this Oracle of Wands, it kind of feels like you're being called to refocus on the passion that comes from within, the bits of your creative flair that are entirely independent of anyone else's input. This year, you are meant to step out on your own, go do your own thing, and not worry about the opinions of people who do not have your best interests at heart, of people who are only here to drain you. Because not only do they not know how to swim, they will take you down with them. You know what I mean? So I don't even say you know what I mean that much. Are you guys like cognizant, like prophetic or something? But yeah, this is like warning you again. I don't think it's warning you against like unhelpful collaborations, but it's more about persisting despite the terrors, you know? So it's about finding your passion, rising above. Okay. So this imagery also kind of makes me think of like these cats as being like hungry and predatory, but the butterfly is rising above them because the butterfly knows better than to, you know, stoop down to their level, because they will eat it, right? Or they will like slap it with their paw or something. So this is very much a year where you really step into your own and really take control of your own passions. You take the reins of your own life. And then that brings us to the Tower, clarified by the Nine of Swords in reverse. So the Tower is massive transformation, but it is usually a card that terrifies most people because it is essentially a tower you built up crumbling. However, in this case, it feels like you already know and you voluntarily like asked this tower to crumble because you know that it's no longer helpful for you to stay in it, right? And it's clarified by the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is like, so the Nine of Swords upright is the anxiety card. It's the card of all these fears that your mind has made up, right? It's not real, but because it's in your mind, it kind of feels real. It feels more real than any of the horrors out there. So this year, while this tower is crumbling, you are learning to let go of the fear of what comes next. You might be someone who, whenever something is taken away from you, you almost feel this panic to replace it. So, for instance, if you feel like you're running out of your favorite body lotion, for instance, right? You might go buy a massive bottle of it and then just have it sit there because your current one doesn't run out for another month. But just because it was sort of seeming like it was running low a little bit, you kind of panicked and tried to replace it. So you might be that kind of person. But this year is teaching you to just allow everything to fall apart first and be present, persistent, and patient while it does. Because you are not in a rush to replace it anymore. If this is like a romantic relationship, if this is like a long-term partnership falling apart, by the way, I don't think you will be in a rush to, you know, move on and find a different partner. Or if there's a friendship falling apart, you're not in a rush to replace them with a new friend or anything like that. This year is all about allowing yourself to, one, grieve all that you have lost or walked away from, but also to find calmness, to find steadiness, despite not knowing what comes next. So essentially, this year is about, along with this message of going inwards to find your passion, this year is really all about you learning to trust the guidance that you are given, to trust that spirit or the universe or whatever you believe in, life or whatever, to trust that that force will come through. Even though you don't see any evidence with your eyes about what's coming next, just having this faith, this deep, unshakable faith that everything is going to work out in your favor in the end. that's kind of what you're building up to. And it is a powerful transformation, because to have a death card and a tower card here, it's not something that, just happens overnight. And it's definitely not something that is like a temporary distraction from the rest of your life. This is a radical upheaval. It is a complete transformation of who you are and where you place your energy, your love, your attention. And also, if you are someone who struggles with like medical anxiety, this might also be the year where you end up getting help, or you find a therapeutic tool that actually helps, by the way. So just as a side note with this Nine of Swords. Okay, so let's take a look at what is helping you with this goal. Okay, interesting. We have the Three of Coins, which is literally this card, but it's upright. So the good news is not everyone in your circle is toxic, and not everyone in your circle is going to bring you down, because with the Three of Coins upright here in a position of what's helping you with this goal, there are people in your life who will build you up, who will pour into you the way you pour into them, who will encourage you to grow beyond your wildest dreams. And also, these people specifically, you will recognize them because they don't try to steal the spotlight from you. Because look how like these characters in the back, even though they are more dramatic looking, more colorful looking than this main character, they are happy to, let this person take the spotlight for a bit. And they're happy to be background characters in her story. So it feels like you will know the difference between good people to work with or to spend time with and bad people to avoid if you think about how much of the conversation they make about themselves. And that will be a clear indicator about whom you should invest in and whom you should avoid entirely. These are the people who will help you find that peace, find that faith in the universe and in, everything turning out really well for you. I love that because, no one wants to do this difficult work alone. And the good news is you don't have to. You do have people in your corner. It's just about discerning which ones are your people and which ones are not your people. Okay? And let's look at what is something that's either hindering progress with this goal or is going to pose a challenge potentially. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. Okay. This is about idealism. This is about romanticizing something that isn't really true. It's about illusions. So when I say romanticizing something, I don't mean literally like turning something romantic, but more in the sense of idealizing a situation, making it very rose tinted. So through this journey, there will be times where you feel low, you feel lonely, you feel like you're missing the people that you've had to walk away from or the situations that you've had to walk away from. But if you indulge that, you are really going to be taking several steps back from this progress you've made. So the thing to very much avoid is allowing those flights of fancy to carry you, where you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe I'm just, exaggerating the problem and the pain. And maybe, these people were good enough. Maybe it's me. No. Pile 2, I'm telling you now, if you allow yourself to indulge in that kind of thinking where you essentially take the blame on yourself and allow these people or this situation to walk away scot-free, you're essentially playing into their hand. And we do not want that, because then you're back where you started, right? So the thing to very much avoid this year is idealizing a situation that is so clearly harmful to you just because you miss the happy times. Because there will be loads more happy times ahead. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming your way. However, you do need a clean slate first. And this year is all about cleaning your slate before the new connections can come in, before the new love and the new abundance can come in. Does that mean it will take all year? No, of course not. But it does mean that you have to be patient with yourself. You have to give yourself time. What's interesting is these petals here are the same petals here. And both of these cards like reduce to the number 7. So the number 7 might be significant to you. I don't know. But yeah, there's very much a link between this inner fire and this idea of letting go and having faith that even though the tower might crumble, you'll be fine. Okay, so finally, let's take a look at some advice from Spirit. We have Cat Spirit. Claim your independence. Yeah. Oh, look, there's a cat. There's a lot of feline energy. This is a cat as well. I mean, it's a tiger, but it's basically a cat. A lot of, adorable. Cat Spirit, claim your independence. I am going to read that from the book because I love this guidebook and it always makes me so happy. When Cat Spirit meows, she is calling you to claim your independence and allow for some space between you and others in your life. The only way you can grow in all your relationships now is to have a healthy sense of self-respect and self-worth. When you walk with dignity, knowing who you are, self-aware and willing to grow, trusting the value you bring, the world will mirror all this back to you in kind. When you say no to codependency and enmeshment, live and let live, and practice taking risks as you wander into new territory for you, Cat Spirit rejoices. She is here to urge you to let your independent spirit roam free. Oh, that is beautiful. This is very much a year where you reclaim the reins of your life. Didn't I say that? This is very much the year you claim your independence, Pal 2, which is so exciting. I love that for you. So that's your reading for today, Pal 2. I really hope it helped and resonated. And boy, if it did resonate, this is going to be a transformative year for you. So let me know in the comments because I'm really curious to see how it goes for you. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I truly hope it helped and it brought you some clarity. If it did, please remember to like and subscribe, comment below, share this video, do all that stuff. It really helps the channel out. If you'd like to support my work, I have a link to my PayPal tip jar in the description, or you could email me for a private reading and we can sort that out. But that's about it. So thank you guys so much for being here and sharing your time and energy with me and letting me do this reading for you. I truly hope it's helped. Stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Pile number 3, hello. So if you guys chose the amethyst, then this is your reading. Welcome. Today we're taking a look at what your goal should be in 2026. And I have to say, I'm feeling a very uplifting, joyous energy from you guys, very excited to see what's next. When I was shuffling your cards, they were flying out, but not in a panicked way, but more in I'm so excited to see what comes next, see how this is going to turn out kind of way. So you might be at the beginning of a new journey, but let's see. So, let me explain the cards. Wow. So these cards here are going to tell us what energy you're coming into the year with. So this is a great way to make sure that you've picked the right pile. If this resonates, then you're in the right place. These cards here will tell us what your goals should be, perhaps why, and also maybe how you can go about achieving it. Then I have 2 cards here. This one here will tell us about what's helping your journey, what's helping you achieve this goal, what energy is around you. This card here will tell us about what might be hindering your journey and, or anything that could be a challenge this year and how you can, we will look at how you can overcome it. And then finally with this card here, we'll take a look at some advice for you. I feel so not jittery, but like excited and eager. Like I can't even get the words to happen right now because I'm so excited. But okay, let's dive in. What energy are you coming into this year with? To start, we have the High Priestess in reverse, clarified by the Two of Cups, okay? And your archetype card is the Empty Room. Okay. How to? Have you just stepped into like a relationship that feels very, very promising? Because to go from like the High Priestess in reverse to the Two of Cups, it kind of feels like you spent so long alone within yourself, like trying to find company with yourself. It's like you almost wanted to shut the world out and go within. And you may have explored a lot of spirituality and a lot of inner growth and inner self and that kind of thing. But you're stepping out of that cycle now and you're stepping into an emotionally fulfilling partnership. And if that's not quite here yet, but you can feel that it's on the horizon for you, then this is very much your pile. It's the Empty Room that's interesting to me. So that's number 42. Let's have a look-see. The Empty Room, the vortex, the abyss, the nothing. The empty room haunts us all. It is the universal and all too frequent feeling of lack, of wanting, of the craving to fill ourselves with something, anything. Ironically, the empty room is filled to the brim with potential, yet we perceive it as not enough. This card is a cry for patience, for sitting within the barren walls of not knowing, for awaiting the true vision and purpose before attaching to what we should do next to save our outward appearance. When light, spaciousness, potential, possibility. When dark, addiction, instability, more for more sake. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it very much feels like you're in a headspace of like, it hasn't completely materialized yet, but you can feel it. It's like, you know, when you know that something is like staticky, like a surface is staticky, and it's like your hand could be like just inches away from it and you can already feel the static, like you haven't even touched it yet and you can feel the static. It's kind of that feeling that I'm getting right now, where you're like, I know this is going to materialize into something so beautiful. It's not here yet, but I can feel that, you know, it's coming, it's happening for me. It's like that kind of feeling. So if that's if that's your energy right now, hello, you're very much in the right place. So let's dive into what your goals should be this year. I'm just going to flip all of these cards and then we'll dive into it. We have the Oracle of Cups in reverse. And that's clarified by the Champion of Swords. Okay. It's very much giving me relationship vibes, I'm not going to lie. And we have the Fool. Oh, I love that. Clarified by the Hermit in reverse. Yes, okay. This is a year of connection for you. Pile 3, this is a year where you fall in love, if that's what you want. This is a year where you build relationships with people who are so important to you, who just show you so much unconditional love and affection. Let's get into the cards. So your goal this year is just to allow it to wash over you. You've spent long enough in solitude, Pile 3. It is time to allow people to love you again, to allow them to show you what you've been missing out. So with the Oracle of Cups, or the Queen of Cups in reverse, clarified by the Champion or the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Cups is someone who holds her emotions deep inside. She's not emotionally constipated at all, but she also knows that not everyone deserves to have access to her emotions. In reverse, it could talk about that emotional constipation, where it's like She feels like no one should have access to her emotions simply because she fears that there will be no space for them. Right, so to have that in reverse clarified by the champion or the Knight of Swords, which is kind of the opposite. This is someone who has an idea and will rush to communicate it, has a thought and will rush to tell everyone about it. The Knight of Swords is someone who is well on their way on a pursuit of intellect and communication. They are learning and they are growing and they're so eager to find out what happens next. So these two cards together kind of tells me that this year, your goal really needs to be about learning how to communicate your feelings without the fear of how it will be received. That's not your job to figure out how it will be received. Because with the Queen of Cups in reverse, this kind of tells me that another way to look at it is the opposite of holding all your feelings in. It is time to release. It is time to let them out. Obviously, don't trauma dump on people because that's never fun. But the fact that it's the Oracle of Cups, it kind of tells me that you do have the emotional maturity. And with this High Priestess and the Hermit here, like you've done the inner work. I think you very much know the difference between communicating versus just unloading on someone that doesn't want or need it. I think you can tell the difference. You can tell the nuance there. But the fact that it's clarified by the card of pretty much the fastest movement, the fastest communication, like this together very much tells me it is time to let go of everything that you've held inside. You may even have been on a journey of self-discovery, and this might be the year where you share what you learned with the people you love, or perhaps even with, a larger audience. But primarily, your goal this year needs to be to figure out communication, because holding it all inside is no longer it. It's no longer helpful. It is no longer going to serve your purpose. Okay, so this year, number one goal, learn how to talk about your feelings. Learn how to, so it's not just about talking about them, because there's a difference between talking about difficult things and communicating effectively with bravery. That's the key. It takes a lot of confidence, a lot of courage, a lot of strength to be able to talk about things that make you feel vulnerable. Part 3. And knights don't just become knights overnight. Knights have to prove their courage, their valor, their strength, their ability to think on the go, their skill with, horse riding or whatever. I don't know what knights used to do, but I assume they horse rode a lot. But the point I'm trying to make is this is not just a title that's bestowed upon you. This is something that comes with practice. So your goal is to practice talking about your feelings, not just because it will allow you to communicate and build stronger, healthier relationships, which it will, but also because it will teach you so much. You will learn so much about yourself simply by talking about how you feel. It will make you stronger in that you will see that you're able to take that vulnerability, turn it into communication, and survive. Survive that conversation, right? You're able to express the deepest, most tender parts of yourself, and also know that you'll be okay no matter how it is received. It doesn't seem like, okay, so this kind of skill, this ability to communicate your emotions, doesn't feel like something that would be a massive goal or like a massive transformation journey or whatever. But trust me, it really is. Learning how to talk about your feelings. Like, this is something I struggle with a lot, and it can hamper you at the strangest of times and in the strangest of ways. So this is very much a goal worth pursuing this year, Pal 3, because it will pay dividends when it comes to not just your relationships, but also like all other aspects of your life. If you're able to speak the truth, knowing that it's terrifying, but doing it anyway, it will give you so much power in any situation. You will be unflappable. So that's definitely something to work towards this year. Then, of course, we have the Fool and the Hermit, both major arcana. There's another major arcana here. It's like deceptively intense this year, in that you won't recognize the massive changes you have undergone because they are so beneath the surface. However, by the end of the year, you'll be a wildly different person, at least emotionally. But the Fool talks about the start of a new chapter, the start of a new cycle. This is someone who is stepping into something new and exciting, and, you don't know how it's going to end up. You don't know where this road is going to take you. I just realized there's a butterfly on this rabbit's bum. That's adorable. But yeah, you don't know where this journey is going to take you. But what you do know is that you are committed to learning what's going to, or unfolding what's going to unfold, whatever. I can't make work happen for whatever reason with this pile. Probably because of this energy here. So that's something we can both work towards. But you are committed to witnessing how this journey unfolds. That's what I was trying to say. And the whole point is to just allow life to do its thing. Because with the Hermit in reverse, the Hermit is Virgo energy. And Virgo energy can often be very particular about how they like things to turn out. And when it's, in its darkest facet, sometimes it can feel quite limiting, quite restrictive. And it can also limit your opportunities for wonder, because when you hold on so tightly to how things should be, you don't see how things could be. So this year, your other goal is to let go of how you think you should do, or how life should work out, or, let go of control, let go of the paradigm that you're used to, and just allow life to surprise you. And especially with like love and relationships and friendships, or any kind of love that wants to come your way, allow it in, allow it to wash over you, allow people to spoil you, Power 3, allow them to, kiss you and take you out and hug you whenever you want, allow them to buy you gifts, to buy you food, to take you out on dates, whatever. Allow life to love you this year. Because you've done so much work. You've done so much work on your own. And you've isolated yourself because you feared that no one could hold space for you until you did all this work. And that may have been true. And that may have been the only way you could get through all the hard work. But you don't need to be isolated anymore, because life wants to throw so much love your way. Allow it to wash over you. It's like going down the lazy river ride in like water parks. You know how sometimes you just gotta let the waves take you wherever they will. It doesn't mean that you're going to drown, but you might see some really beautiful sights on the way. You may not exactly know which way your float is going to take you, but you'll enjoy the view either way. So That's kind of the energy you want to embody this year. Okay, so let's take a look at what is helping you along this journey. The 10 of Cups. Oh, okay. Pile 3, going out on a limb here. This relationship that you're anticipating, or you've just stepped in, or you're looking forward to, this could be the one. I know. It's very early days. It's me just saying that, it freaked me out, right? So I don't know how you're feeling about it, but there is very much potential for this to go all the way. And what will help you achieve this happiness, this emotional release, this comfort, what will help you is to bask in the potential of it all. Even if you don't believe that it will 100% work out, the fact that it could work out is where your sweet spot is this year. It is to allow yourself to just dip your toe in the infinite possibilities, in the excitement of it all, the eagerness, it feels like, you know, those photos on Pinterest that are like heavily photo manipulated, and it's like a pool surrounded by marble pillars, and like the water is pink and there's like glitter and sparkles, and the sky is like sunsetty. It kind of gives me that vibe. It's like there is so much potential crackling in that water like glitter, just begging you to jump in. This very much feels like a watery energy. Well, of course, because there's a lot of water here. But the whole feeling of like, oh, but it could work out. It could. That optimism. It's like this year is begging you to dive straight into that optimism and to allow it to carry you wherever it will. Because this year you're allowed to let go of control. You're allowed to let go of the need to direct which way your life will go, and just flow along with the lazy river. Okay? And what's something that might hinder your progress? What might be challenging? We have the Magician. What did I just say? Okay, here's the thing about the Magician, right? It's a beautiful card. It's a card about manifestation, about having all the tools you need in order to bring your vision to life. But the fact that this is in a challenge position tells me that your desire to make it happen might be the thing that hinders you. There's a reason this is the Magician, but this is the Fool. The Fool is not someone who has any sense of control over how things are going to pan out. The Magician has all the tools they need in order to take that idea and sort of transmute it and alchemize it into something that they want it to be. So what could potentially hinder your progress is control, is this fear that you might not know what's going on and that that's a bad thing. This year, you are to embrace the idea that I don't know what's going on, and that's a good thing, because it just means I haven't been exposed to that much excitement and that much joy and that much abundance before and that much love before. I just don't have a frame of reference, and that's the only reason I don't know how it's going to pan out. And once I have that frame of reference, I will know how the next thing will pan out, because I will have tasted that much joy and that much love and that much abundance. So the thing to avoid this year is definitely the illusion of control, because it is an illusion at the end of the day, right? We convince ourselves that we know how to make certain things happen, but that's just not true. We're just ruining the fun of the moment by trying to prove to ourselves that we are in charge of the situation. Okay? So avoid this, embrace this, because this is where your power lies this year. Finally, let's take a look at some advice from the Animal Spirit deck. We have the Badger Spirit in reverse. Be fearless and bold. Oh, this badger is adorable. Okay. Oh, those are black-eyed Susans, I think those are called. These flowers. Love them. Okay, this is card number 4. Which is funny because the number 4 is all about stagnancy, about, holding on to stability and being, resistant to change. Whereas this year for you is all about, no, we're not doing any of that. Okay, Badger Spirit in reverse. When Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression, argumentative behavior, and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome. Perhaps someone close to you has excess Badger energy, or perhaps that energy is pent up in you. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or a brisk walk, shake it off, or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm others and yourself. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will run rampant. Remember, the world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of that Badger Spirit intensity along with the need to have it your way. Yes. Perhaps something that you've struggled with is the frustration of when things don't go exactly the way you planned for them to. And you may, towards the end of last year, actually, because this energy is so intense, like it may have been a very recent thing where you may have experienced a situation where you simply could not control the outcome. However, this year, you will recognize why you had to experience that, because now that things have turned out okay, despite it being so crazy and out of control, you will be able to apply that moving forward and maybe go from releasing control to not even questioning the way of life to expecting happy things. It's a very exciting year for you, Pile 3. It's such a beautiful year full of so much happiness and so much potential that you are being called to just dive headfirst into. Okay, so that's your reading for today, Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here, because this has put me in such a wonderful mood. But I hope this reading helped and it brought you some clarity and support and excitement, because I can feel the excitement from these cards. If it resonated, please do remember to like and subscribe. Comment below how this reading worked out for you. If you'd like a private reading, you can email me. If you'd like to support my work, my PayPal tip jar is down in the video description. Thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me and sharing your energy and letting me read for you today. I truly, truly hope it's helped. You can stick around to the outro just after this for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.